There's a function called quick start that allows us to do certain functions, predetermined functions, at the simple touch of one button. We'll enter Setup, System, Quick Start. With the X30, we have to be within 9.3 miles of the original field to export the job. It exports a printable PDF with the as-applied rates as well as your coverage maps. Very useful in proof of wetland seeding, acres covered, so on and so forth. These PDF forms, you can print them, keep them in your house, or keep them as an electronic version on your computer. This makes sure that that process gets done as long as a USB thumb drive is inserted in the X30. We can also have it automatically change a field, so we have that state enabled. And the action, the type of way we create the field. If we had all of our fields created the year before, we can have it auto-locate that field every time. We can have it so if we've gone to the trouble of pre-naming fields in the house, we can have it so it selects a new field, right, from a list. Or we can have it so it drives us to create a new field at the edge of each field. That's how we'll have our example. Recording a boundary. We have that enabled. If we had previous boundaries from the year before, we wouldn't need that function. Changing a job always requires us to change a job when we're starting a new field, job, so on and so forth. So this action is nice to have that. So at quick start does this function for you, so we have it enabled. The action, we have it to create a job or select a job from a list. We're going to have ours create a job from the X30. And we can have it so prompt us, okay, or a custom name or a default name. We'll just go so it prompts us to make that selection. Our headland mode, if we choose to seed our headlands last. If we don't have a previously recorded boundary and we choose to use 2 headland swaths, we would set this to 3 headlands. The first one being a seeded coverage, creating our boundary, and the next 2 as our turnaround for our seeder. We can have it auto hide on success. Okay. Disabled or enabled. I'll leave this function disabled for better demonstration. But real time you may choose to have that so it auto hides when the whole process is successful. So now we'll touch on a running man again. We have a thumb drive loaded. We had a job from before. Our quick start button is the top icon. We touch it. It asks us if we want to adjust colors on the maps, and we will say no. It says exporting the job. The export was successful. Export job report, a check mark. It stopped on the create a new field because it's making us create that new field. So we got a client name, farm name, field name. We'll make this demo 77. Okay, now it's directed us to create a new job. It's making us make a name. I could use the factory name that's created from the X30, or I can create a new name myself. Your choice. Accept that. Set headland mode. Okay, now it's going to make us create a boundary. We've predetermined the type of offset we're going to have. We're on the left hand side. We had that previously set up. So I've expanded this field, this function. Now we have our pause button and our completion button. We're set up to start recording. We have to turn our clutch on, engage our tractor, and we're creating our field on our left hand side. Our screen, we have panning enabled, so we can move it over if we choose to. I'll stop our tractor, and we'll simply complete that boundary. We have 3 headlands set up, headland mode. Good. So we have the headland we created to create our boundary, 2 more headlands, and then we could seed inside here. Good to go. It says the whole process was successful, all the check marks, everything we wanted to do. Good. We can limit to our headland, then we would seed inside.